Before we dive into anything further in this episode, I just want this to be very clear. This split was something that we should be incredibly proud of. The boys overperformed expectations that I had, that I think most of the community had, and we should be proud of that. Don't let how it ended, don't let anything else surrounding the situation take away from what was an amazing split one.
These beautiful things that I've
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the mid-split one finale. You know, whenever like a season of TV show is like a full year's worth of time, but like you stop after winter, like you stop for like the winter break before it comes back in the spring, like the difference between fall and spring, but it's still like one full season, but like you got the break in between. Whatever you call that, that's what this is. This is like the midpoint finale. I'll be honest with you, I don't really want to talk about much of the TL game itself. We got outclassed in many different ways, and I've already spent time touching on the FlyQuest series in the special edition episode of the Rendezvous, so I don't really think there's anything to like touch on there. I'd rather keep this holistic to the entire split because, you know, just mentioning the final real quick, it was a quick 3-0. We were able to get leads and bounce back in game 2 and 3, but like when it came to over chasing fights, which seemed like it happened every time before a major objective. Like we knew the idea of like wanting to get a kill to set up for something for an objective, but we would chase too far. TL would always be there to collapse, and we threw in the exact same way twice right before Otacon, both games in 2 and 3, and it's like you knew it was coming by game 3 as well. I watched Dom's cast of the game, and it was like I was right in line with him that even though we were ahead in game 3, there was this worry in the back of my mind of like, we did this last game. TL was like very good at these moments, and when we weren't able to spot Nautilus hiding in the alcove of bot lane in game 3 before that Otacon fight, I knew what was coming. Like the second I saw him down there, and I think it was Quid like trying to sweep like the bush, and he checked, and like the second there was like that sense of confidence that you could tell from under these, like, okay, he's not here, our flank is protected. I immediately knew it was like, oh, this is done. This is unfortunately going to happen again. We're going to throw it, and it is what it is. But hey, second place on the split is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, especially given that we were able to beat Team Liquid in the first best of 3 earlier on. The win over FlyQuest is pretty massive. Would I have liked for that to have been a full best of 5? Yes. Now, there are some people that were calling for like double elimination of everything. Personally, I'll be honest with you, I don't mind single elim. Like, I really don't. In these situations, like, I think it does add a lot to the moment. I think the intensity of single elimination series actually can be a lot higher than double elim. Even if it arguably doesn't produce the better team, I don't really see that argument as much. Even if, yes, FlyQuest might be able to beat them the second time around, you still got to show up and win. And FlyQuest didn't, we did. So let's step back to the entirety of Split 1. Like, just ignoring, not necessarily ignoring this finals weekend, but like working that into everything. Sniper, I think, had a down split. I don't think there's any like disregarding that. Like, outside of the FlyQuest series, I don't think he had the best season. There were points where it was like, okay, he is going down a lot in lane, wasn't able to get some of the solo kills that he was in times past. Now, this weekend was a massive step up, getting solo kills on both Impact and Whippo, being able to push out his tempo a little bit more. The sus TPs reared their heads again in the TL final. Some of the issues that he does have are still around, but that said, had this weekend not happened, maybe it would have been more of a down split. Maybe I would have been more negative on him, but the signs of what we want Sniper to be long-term are there. Absolutely. Was this growth? No, it's a short split. I think spring will be more telling of like where he's at as a player in terms of what he's been able to learn from his lessons in the past. He's clearly still got the hands, the macro. In high pressure moments, we still slip up a little bit. But overall, I'd say a net neutral split for Sniper for the most part. River, unfortunately, still not, for him, like, it's tough because he had a very like kind of quiet split to a certain extent. Like, he's just the de facto best mid-jungle duo whenever him and Quid are both clicking. But then you get to finals and you get these high-pressure moments. And APA said it. And look, you can't disregard it at this point. when it comes to the big game, when it comes to like the high pressure moments, River, for whatever reason, just is not stepping up in the same way. There were a lot of plays yesterday where like he's being a little bit over aggressive. But at the same time, whenever, it's not like there was no pressure on the FlyQuest series. Man stepped up and played incredibly well there and was gapping Inspired for the first 2 games. Third game, Inspired started making a comeback a little bit more. But like, River still had a great season. A little bit more quiet than in years past. Last year, obviously, he was in the running for MVP. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to top that mark in particular. But I'd say still a pretty good year for him, or pretty good split. Quid reestablishing himself as one of the best mid laners in the league. Unfortunately, again, this weekend in particular, I just felt like they weren't able to live up to the expectations. Quid, I think, was out of position a lot, was getting his flash burnt very early on as people were targeting him. Now, whether that's on the rest of the team to step up, knowing that Quid is getting a lot of attention, maybe. I think in the FlyQuest series, Sniper definitely stepped up in those moments whenever we needed him, but against TL that did not happen. But Quid definitely got more attention on him, whether that was just via AVA playing well or not, it doesn't matter. De facto second best mid laner in the league, I would say. I think APA has earned his title back as number 1 after smashing Quid in the 1v1 and just in that individual matchup. So not a bad spot to be for Quid. We were hoping for a good follow-up. I'd say for the most part, pretty solid. FBI earning that title of best offseason pickup without question. Not a doubt in my mind. In a world where FlyQuest and Team Liquid stayed exactly the same, we made a change, C9 made changes. Yeah, he was amazing. He brought stability that we needed to have, which in return, like shifting this in with Ayla as well, clearly freed up Ayla to improve massively. You want to talk about the biggest difference between last year and this year? Ayla was playing on a whole different level. Engages were just amazing. Coordination with the team was great. Still some oopsie moments at times. We tend to have that as a team, but I don't know what else you can say when it comes to Ayla's level up other than if you just watch it. Like, it passes the eye test at such a high level that the broadcast actually showed like Yawn and Ayla kind of returning to finals, like the two of them playing in their first finals opposite to each other ever, especially after being on an academy team together back in 2022. And it's like, this is the Ayla that we all kind of were promised and wanted to see. And I was really, really happy to see it come to fruition. It proves a lot of his haters wrong, and I'm really happy of that. I'm really happy that we made the choice to keep him around, which is great. Just overall for this team, so many good building blocks going into Split 2. So if I had to give an overall grade to the season, A-, without question. The only way it turns into like a full-blown A is if you win the entire thing. But we smashed expectations. Players stepped up where they needed to. It was a good split. It was a fun watch. I want to get the one negative thing out of the way before we shift back into positive, which was, social media this past weekend was rough, to say the least. Team Liquid, in a now deleted tweet when it nade shot after TL had won, saying the Kendrick say nade, which is an implication of him being a PDF in some way, shape, or form. I know the joke that TL was trying to go for because Impact was listening to Not Like Us pretty consistently. Drake was an investor in 100 Thieves. I don't know if he is anymore. Like, there is an angle to play that joke, but using like the specific version of that tweet that is like the say Drake moment of like, I hear you like I'm young, immediately following after that, not the right move for TL, even if I get the spirit of what they were trying to do. I'm trying to get benefit of the doubt here to TL, if you can't tell. I know most people won't in this situation, but it's not like 100 Thieves have not had like really edgy moments where like they haven't gone at other people, but they have gone at themselves in ways like that. So I try to view social media in the sphere of sometimes people will cross lines. It's meant to be a joke. Somebody takes it too far, and it just crosses a line. We deal with it. It is what it is. The problem was Nadeshot responded to that tweet rather than just calling out the bullshit narrative that was with TL. Like, I guess TL is importing their social media staff, to which that comment falls so flat given that they have more North American players on their team and in their staff than we do, and we are reliant upon like lax rules when it comes to Australian players also being considered North American non-imports. So like, dude, you could have just like directly went at it. Instead, you opened us up to this, and like, The reason why I want to address this is because it's like general sentiment that people have around 100 Thieves after this weekend is like people love the players. They love the personalities that exist on the field. The team is amazingly fun to watch. People are very clearly annoyed at our management, as they probably should be, given the offseason comments, given the fact that they wanted to sell the slot, but then still stuck in it because they've got their money via that, and we don't know whether the org's going to be around or not. We're still on watch to find out what's going to happen there, but like the animosity is clearly still all around. Malk's comments on Friday when it came to FlyQuest at Azale obviously didn't help. Now, granted, I threw my hat in the ring on that. When it came to Sunday morning before finals, Azale put out a tweet saying that, oh, like 100 Thieves still has to win this series to go into anything else on even footing, which I still disagree with at the time, personally. Just because TL won this in a 3-0 convincing fashion doesn't mean I take back what I said prior to that. I still agree. The difference between like us not getting credit for the FlyQuest win and like the cast being an issue and like expectations going into the 100 Thieves series, whole different thing. Should I have said what I said? No, I probably didn't need to stoke the flames any further, but it was just one that it was like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. Did it add on to existing flame that probably just took away from what was otherwise a pretty good weekend? Yeah, probably. So that's my bad for detracting from the moment in any way, shape, or form. I just wanted to make sure that we were going in on even footing. But hindsight's 2020. If it would have worked out, I would have looked like a genius. It doesn't, and I look like an ass, period. As does the rest of 100 Thieves management on social media. So my bad, folks. Next time, I'll keep my mouth shut. Somewhat. I hate this idea that people think that you need to keep your mouth shut until you won something. It's like, no, you should be yapping beforehand. The problem for management, different from me, is that like Malk and Nadeshot and crew, they conveniently forget that like LOL exists and like tweeting about it on a consistent basis and talking about it until these moments, which is why people have such a vitriolic reaction to all this. It's like, okay, well, why are you coming out of the woodwork now to say something when you could have been like hyping up whenever they had like had these small achievements, whatever it is, at least on a more consistent basis. So then it comes out of nowhere and it's like, dude, what would you get whiplash from it? It's like, at least whenever I talk shit, I've been talking shit the entire time. The one positive though, Nadeshot did live view or co-stream the final match, which crappy match to end up watching, but I don't know if that went well. You'd have to tell me in the comments if you ended up tuning in to watch any of his bit. I'll be honest, I stopped watching most of Nadeshot's content over the last year. It's mostly like Marvel Rivals, stuff like that, so I haven't really been paying much attention other than like when his stuff goes viral, like the stuff that he said in chat. So other than that, I think that's pretty much the end of Split 1 for 100 Thieves League of Legends. Will it be the last of 3 splits? I don't know. We're still waiting on news. We're still waiting for literally anything to come out to find out. But I will say it was a fun one at the end of the day. I hope content this offseason like continues to pick up. I will keep hitting on it on these videos that I just want to see more and more and more and more, especially as we go into the offseason where now like we have a team that people are really hyping up. Now it's more important than ever to make sure that these personalities get out there so that when people tune back in spring, they've kept up with them throughout the entire offseason so that you're like, it's like a friend that you want to watch win. That's what made old school League of Legends so successful. We've got the building blocks as an organization to really push it there. And given the state that viewership's at for North America, and given that we're struggling to get 100,000 people, like even if you get like a couple hundred people to become even bigger fans of Quid, Sniper, and everybody else, like that makes a big difference. So really hope we step up our content game in this offseason. We promote a lot because we've now got a full month at minimum until we ever see these guys play again. Granted, we've got First Stand coming up. We got to support Team Liquid, support our NA brothers over there. I know it's going to be hard for some people and some of you might not want to. That's fine. I will do that for us. But my biggest takeaway from this split is that we've got building blocks. Same thing as last year. We've got momentum on our side. Keep it going. Keep doing this. Thank you to everybody that tuned up at the bar yesterday. There were a lot of 100 Thieves fans at the bar yesterday, which was really fun to see. From the baseball jerseys to the double lift red jersey from that year to somebody else had the jersey from this year as well. Like there were many 100 Thieves fans at the bar, more than I was expecting. It was actually 100 Thieves favored over TL in terms of the fandom. So we are growing something here, folks. So keep it up. Keep talking about the squad. Keep mentioning them on social media, tweeting about whenever anything happens. Like, let's just keep it in the conversation at all times. That's how you grow this thing. And before you know it, maybe we will actually have a full theater of 100 Thieves fans watching all this together. Thank you so much for tuning in at all, for supporting any of my content, anything that we've done this season for 100 Thieves. And I will see you in a month for the next episode of The Rendezvous as we come back from our break. Unless anything happens during this off season, there's major news, then that'll happen. But otherwise, it's been fun.